Well, good morning and welcome. Thank you for carving out time on Monday. I know Mondays are when work comes at you, so the fact that you blocked this time out tells me you're serious about finishing off your year strong. And that's exactly what this hour is for. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Michael Walliser. I'm a working broker here in the Triangle, and I'm the founder of EasyDigz. I want to be clear about what this is. It's a training session, not a sales pitch. I'm going to spend this time showing you how to build a pipeline that you own. If EasyDigz ends up being the good fit for you to do that, then that's great. That is not the goal today. The goal today is for you to leave with something that you can apply this afternoon. Two quick housekeeping notes. One, drop your questions in the chat anytime. I've got time at the end for a Q&A. Additionally, throughout this, if you guys have some pertinent questions for what we're talking about right now, feel free to raise your hand. There's about 13 of us in here right now, so we should be able to accommodate some casual conversation as well and make sure everyone goes away with what they're looking for. I will, additionally, this is all going to be uploaded to our YouTube, and everyone will get the link by email. If you have to drop, you won't miss anything. Let me start with the thing that got us here. It's a situation I want you to picture because I bet you it's happening in your business right now. Somebody is following you on social, they like a post about a given neighborhood, and maybe they comment. And this is real interest, a real human being raising their hand. And what happens after that? In most agents' worlds, nothing. It kind of sits there, and they hope that that person stays engaged on their social media content. And to be honest, it's not necessarily the best way forward. A lot of your social media systems don't have ways of really tracking who that person is or following up with them throughout their journey. If it's sitting in a notification tab, there's no system that turns that into anything. There's no blog post about the area that they were curious about, and no follow-up that references what they actually care about. By the time you reach back out, they've forgotten why they were interested in the first place. That gap between somebody showing interest and doing something specific with it, that's where leaks get out of your pipeline. It's not because we're lazy, it's because our tools and systems aren't assisting each other. Our website is over here on one island, and we might have a blog resource on another. And if we are doing drip campaigns, they very rarely have a cohesive conversation between the two. And we add all of that to the social media that's standing alone on its own. And that lead is what falls in the water in between those pipelines. When I say own your pipeline, what I mean is that every piece of interest a person shows gets captured, turned into something useful, and sent back to them in a way that's specific to what they cared about. All of that happens on branding that you own, not on platforms that you're renting. That's the whole session in one sentence, and we're going to build it in 4 pieces. The first piece is a branded home base. It's a singular site that's actually yours. It's not a profile on somebody else's portal. Piece 2 is turning interest into content. I'll show you live how to take a lead specific interest and turn it into a real post grounded in real market data. The third, closing that loop with follow-up emails and how you can tie that back to the content. How we use this to test whether or not that person has further interest. We can see what gets opened and what's relevant. The fourth is making your blog the center of the wheel. How that content goes beyond just transactions and keeps people circling back to you instead of another portal that you're renting. With those 4 pieces, by the end, you'll have a framework to tie them together for Q4. Let's get into the first. Before you can turn interest into anything, that interest needs somewhere to land that belongs to you. And let's talk about your home base. Most of you have a CRM that your leads live in right now. And for a lot of agents, the answer is that CRM is somewhere on a third-party portal. Your listings are on somebody else's site. Your reviews are on somebody else's platform. Your leads came through someone else's front door, and they decide who gets to see your information, and they charge you for that privilege. Whether they sell that same lead to 3 other agents at the same time is kind of up to them. That's not a pipeline that you own. And you can be evicted from it anytime the platform changes its rules. I know that several of you on this call, we've discussed, you might have a great real estate website set up with your own branding. However, you're using a third-party IDX provider. And so all of that information about all of the relevant properties ends up not displaying on the site that you supposedly own. So now you're set up with all of what you believe is your resource in your branding and your name. However, when it comes time to search you, your real estate website without any real estate on it. And that's really where EasyDigz comes into play, is we've ensured that all of your site information is branded and searchable in your name and your branding, in addition to all of your blogs. So when you create this relevant additional content, it enhances your site visibility. Instead of just saying, hi, I'm a real estate broker in Raleigh, North Carolina, and having no listings attached, we can now build on our brand value and enhance the way that people are able to search for us. That's the alternative, as a single branded home base. And this means not just get a website. It has to be account-based and yours, with your brand, your domain, and your data. It has to be searchable and crawlable via both Google and increasingly AI search tools. And this is how people are actually asking questions and getting recommendations. It has to also be an anchor, one place where everything else that you runs points back to. Your social, your email, your blogs, your workflows all create a continuous flywheel effect that enhance your consumers' ability to come back to you as the source of truth. And now you know, if this one Instagram follower turns into a real lead, that relationship should come home, not stay parked on a platform that gets referred out to another website that's selling leads to someone other than you. I want to spend a second on that middle point because it's newer and most agents haven't caught up to it yet. It used to be enough to be findable on Google. And now people are asking AI tools, the chat assistants, questions like, who's a good agent in town that knows the neighborhood? And those tools answer by reading the web. If your site is locked down in another portal, the AI could very well be referring your potential clients back to someone that's not you or another business entity that isn't necessarily operating in your best interest. And you don't get mentioned. If your home base is clean, searchable, and full of specific local content, this allows you to show up as the expert and show up in that answer. The home base isn't just about how pretty it is. It's the difference between being recommendable and being invisible to both Google and LLMs. It's the foundation. Everything else we do today only works because it sits on top of a home base that you own. And here's the thing, a home base that just sits there pretty isn't worth very much at all. It has to do work. I'll stop talking about it and show you what this means. We're going to go through this demo. And we'll say, for example, we're on your Instagram feed. We all know what this dashboard looks like. We can go up, search by insights, look at what our highest ranking things are. And we immediately know, hey, we have people that are showing up on this subject matter. What do we do with it, right? This is where this step really comes into play. We can additionally look here on our dashboard. And we're going to start from a real captured lead in the next few minutes. We're going to turn their interest into a published blog and post a follow-up that references exactly what they cared about: live, no smoke, and mirrors. And once this person has shown interest on this Instagram post, we need to get a better understanding about who they are. On our Instagram, we're easily able to click on and see what items are gathering this interest, but it doesn't really show up as real clients for us. And the people who are showing interest in a specific area, we can now build a pipeline that allows them to come back into you, get added into your CRM, and retain that specific interest via blog posts and regular outreach, allowing you to be that source of truth for them. And this is also how you can get more granular information about people's specific areas of interest. It's raw material. In most systems, this is where it stops. It's just a name on a list. We'll do this instead. I'm going to ground this in real numbers because generic content is worthless. What I'm going to do here is say, okay, cool. I have someone interested in Durham, North Carolina. I'm just going to take that information, turn it straight over to Easy Insights, and I'm going to do this list. Help me understand the condo housing market in Durham and how prices are affected by easy walkability to local cafes and events. While this Easy Insight tool is pulling relevant real information and market data, it's going to be pulling what's selling, the days on market, list to close price ratios, and all in a real picture. We're not going to make up stories about this neighborhood, and we're going to tell the truth about it. The truth is more persuasive than fluff. Right now, there's pulling it up based on this leads area. You guys noticed on the previous dashboard, I saw that I had someone interested in the Durham market. And it's going to populate exact data for that area that this person cares about. And that's the difference between here's a generic update and this is exactly what's happening on your market. And we're going to take that data and directly turn it into content. Once this is done pulling, we'll have it draft a blog post about the area. And it will all be grounded in truthful MLS data we just pulled, not made up filler. This post is specific, it will be accurate, and it's the one thing that the lead already told you that they cared about. While this is drafting, take a notice of what just happened. A follower showed interest, that interest was captured on a site, and now it's becoming a real piece of content on a home base that it answers their exact question. This is the loop closing in real time. As soon as this is done generating, we probably have about 60 more seconds. We're going to go through and show you how to create content based on this insight data. I think you guys will be very interested to see what it's able to produce. I know that some of you on this call have already seen this in action in other demos. But once it's done, we'll be able to get a better assessment. Just for information's sake, you should expect this to take about 90 seconds. Sometimes if you have more specific queries, it can draw that time frame down a little bit on what it takes to create. Or if you have complex ones like what I just answered, it can sometimes push above that. But in general, if you're doing this, it will take about 90 seconds. As of right now, we do ask that you stay on the page in order to create this. If you guys aren't building this within EasyDigz, feel more than free to pull up whatever blog platform that you have, whether it's on Substack or another third-party tool within your site, and you'll be able to get that generated and pulled up quite easily. We'll let this finish producing here, and we've got a Durham condo market analysis right here. We have the walkability premium. It has 219 condos in Durham, 80 active listings, and 139 sales closed in the past year. There's a dramatic price premium for condos in walkable downtown areas near cafes, restaurants, and local events. You'll see here the median active price is $359,000, while the closed price is $419,000. It breaks it all down in vicinity to the core that I was just referencing. You'll notice that there's a substantial increase in pricing in that core. And as you move a little bit further out, you see that there's definitely a premium for those items that are walkable. And you'll see that it's a little bit older stock. However, we'll get a bit newer if you go just outside of Durham, and you can kind of see how Durham gets built out in that pipeline. Now that we're here, we'll allow that to just generate some of our blog headings based on that. And we'll just go ahead and let that generate some headings. And we'll see here how we can relate directly back to our consumer. So we know that we had someone interested directly in downtown. We saw that someone has liked our reference material on Instagram. And how do we get more in touch with that consumer? We have to say, here is what you're likely interested in based on your results so far. We're not saying, here's what it looks like to buy a house in Durham. We're going to directly be able to break this down. We'll save it as a draft. And we'll just use this as an image for it. We're going to directly be able to break it down and inherently A/B test against what type of reports that people want to see on our socials, as well as what type of reports people want to see through our email campaigns and our other information. The benefit to this is I'll show you once this blog is published, we can easily go back, track everyone that's been to the blog, understand how well it's seen, understand how long people spend reading it. We can possibly even find areas where people are dropping off. In addition, in our blog analytics, you guys will be able to see firsthand which types of your blogs are being better received by people on your email campaigns and what types of things people are reading more information about. So this gives you direct, relevant information that you can create actionable items for, not just, hey, someone liked an Instagram post or someone watched my YouTube video for my open house. Now you can go in and say, this is exactly why people are looking in this part of Cary, is because they like access to restaurants. This is exactly why people are looking in the southern part of RTP. And you'll see here, this is the blog first draft just been generated. You'll notice here directly relevant to people who are shopping for condos in Durham, and you've noticed the huge swing in pricing that you're able to look at. And it gives you relevant information tabulated, all in LLM readable content. You'll see that we're able to directly link at this, all of our excerpts, all of our content, as well as all of our SEO and metadata is already populated for this blog to be enhanced, both LLM readable and Google indexed. You're able to look here as people see the different areas and perimeters around Durham, what they're able to get, practical buyer guides, all the way down to list price to sales price ratios, and time on market, as well as constrictions as far as the number of active inventory. All of this is relevant and real information. Just for what it's worth, I'm just going to publish this. So that way you guys are able to easily able to read along, and I'll be dropping it in link. So that way everyone that attended the webinar will be able to see what we were able to produce here live. Again, we also have all of our ready to publish revisions right here. You can see it's just saving the blog, it's published, and we can easily just click on it and view it live. So this is already, I've taken Instagram interest and direct relevant information from our site, produced relevant local content that is LLM searchable and Google indexed, leading back to you as the core source of truth, branded in your name. So that way when people are searching, hey, I'm looking at condos in Durham, they're not just saying, here's 5 home buying tips. They're saying, hey, this is why I'm paying a price premium for where in the core that I am. This is the list price to sales price ratios. These are real, this is real information that I can expect to see based on where I'm looking and what my interests are. And the fun part is once we go back into the blogs, you guys will easily be able to see all of the analytics for this blog. You can see here that I've been the only person to visit it. However, if we go back to some of our others, it's super informative for us to be able to look through. We can click on it. We'll be able to look at the analytics, see the views over time from when I shared it, peak viewer time so you know when to share, how many people look at it, how long it takes to read, how well it ranks, and also the tags that are assigned. All of this information allows you to tailor and customize your outreach to your clients specifically based on what they're giving you feedback on. And we're going to pull this picture back in so that it sticks. We have interest in, we're directly putting content out, we're following up with relevant information for those references, all on ground that you own. And what keeps this running after this first email? We're going to go back here. This is your blog. We're going to make this the center of the wheel. And we just made one blog post and based on a lead's interest. The real power isn't in one post. It's what happens when your blog becomes the hub of wheel and everything on the else on your spoke is pointing back into it. When you have this wheel, in the middle is your blog, your home base. The spokes are every other place you show up. Your LinkedIn, your social posts, your email. Every spoke's job is to send people back to the hub because the hub is the one piece that you own. Traffic on LinkedIn belongs on LinkedIn. Traffic on your blog belongs to you. Here's the move that most agents miss, and it's the difference between a blog nobody reads and the one that people actually circle back to. Don't make your blog only about transactions. 5 tips for buyers, or is now a good time to sell. There are thousands of people writing that, and it's forgettable. We write about the place. We want to know what the best taco truck in town is, the Little League fields, the hiking trail that nobody knows about. What about the new coffee shop that opened on Main Street? These are the types of content that makes somebody who's thinking about moving to the area go, this person actually knows this place. They're a part of it. They're a part of the community. They're not just trying to sell me a house. You become the local source of truth. And when they're finally ready to buy or sell, whose name is already in their head? Transactional content sells to 3 people ready today. Building local content builds a relationship with the 30 people who will be ready to move over the next 2 years. And keep them circling back to your site as a reference the entire time. Let's talk about how do you make the spokes feed the hub. This is with cross-linking, and I'll be concrete. When you publish a blog post, you post about it on LinkedIn, but don't post the whole thing there. Share the hook and link back to your site. LinkedIn gives you that reach. Your blog gets the visit and the credit. And on the blog side, you point back out to your LinkedIn. So the relationship deepens in both directions. If we do that consistently, those two things compound. Google and LLMs see a site that's alive, regularly updated, locally specific, and linked to a real professional. They'll start recommending you more, and your audience get trained that the good stuff lives on your site. So they'll keep coming home to you. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. We can just say, I want to share this on LinkedIn, right? Let's do a preview. It's pretty generic. And let's say publish it to our LinkedIn. You'll notice that it automatically pulls up my LinkedIn. Share my thoughts. This is another blog that I had, and I'll say, RTP is a high demand area. And oftentimes people think that they're being priced out. However, there are homes available under $400,000, which is below the median home sales price for the area. Click on the blog below to find more. From here, if you want to enhance that post or try and gather more interest, you're welcome to click on this. And we can simply just hit post. And you're done. That's how easy it is to take relevant information, produce it based on your client's interest, and directly spin that back out to social media. If you share it to other channels, you're now able to take people across channels and actually own that community. Instead of being reliant on one channel as your source of leads, you can now take those leads and put them to where they're relevant and put them to where their true interests are. And let's go ahead and tie these pieces in to something that you can run between now and the year end. We've got 4 more left. We've got 4 more left in 2026. And by the time we get to Q4, this is when pipelines are either going to compound or stall. I want yours to compound. And here's the plan. It's deliberately simple. It'll happen in 4 moves. The first, make sure you have a home base that you own. Make sure that it's searchable. Make sure that your leads live within it. That's the first leak to plug. Several of you that I've spoken with permanently say, I have a website. And when we search it, it displays either another company or portal instead of your name. It doesn't display real estate data with it, or it doesn't have any additional value other than, hi, I'm a broker who represents Central North Carolina, which is incredibly vague, and you're directly competing with 20,000 other real estate brokers on that messaging. Move 2, make sure interest from social media actually lands somewhere on that home base instead of disappearing. If you push media out via your YouTube or your Instagram and you get positive results from it, expand upon that. Create real relevant information. And on your blog, you're able to A/B test that messaging. You can write blogs around 2 different things for any given area code. If you happen to be an outdoor enthusiast, you can write about mountain biking or fishing or kayaking or whatever relevant features that you want. If you happen to be focused in Durham, you can write about Eno River or the Falls Lake natural area that we have just east of there. There's all kinds of things that you can do to really understand what your clients want to see. And it's very easy to test that. Move 3, build the content habit. Take real leads, real interest, and turn them into blog posts grounded in real data, the way that we just showed you live. Aim for a cadence you can actually keep. 1 good local post a week compounds fast. The 4th move, close every loop. No post goes without a follow-up email that references the interest. And no email goes out without testing, so you're learning what works instead of guessing. Here's why this works. By December, every post you publish keeps working. It doesn't expire the day you hit send like an ad does. It's not reliant on the next ad dollar. Every follow-up you make tests and makes the next one better. Every spoke that you add sends more people back to the hub that's growing. Do this for 1 quarter, and you don't just close a few more deals a year. You walk into 2027 with a pipeline that's genuinely yours and genuinely full. That's the whole thing. The home base you own, interest turned into content, content closed with tested follow-up, and a blog at the center of the wheel that keeps people coming home to you. That's the framework. We've got time. let's go ahead and go over questions and answers. I'll stop sharing my screen here and we'll go to the chat. If you guys want, you feel free to raise your hand. I've got the chat open right now as well. Let me just make sure that you guys are able to access that. Awesome. Awesome. And we look good there. All right, cool. So it looks like we have a couple in here. Yeah, the point of the training today is if you already have a website, you don't necessarily have to switch. It's your choice. I would say that we covered a lot of this in the last webinar about, is your site searchable? I know that several people on this call, I've done kind of that visibility audit with them, only for them to find out that, you know, all of their real estate pages were provided by a third-party provider, and they all showed up as the third-party provider and not them. We've also seen several cases in which people's blog is linked to their site. However, it's through a separate resource. And so that URL doesn't align when it's searched or indexed, doesn't necessarily align straight back to that person's name or add to their online presence or value. So those two big things are worth taking into account. We specifically built the EasyDigz platform in order to resolve some of those problems. They're issues that we ran into in 20 years of running our own real estate sites. And yeah, just being able to expand upon that presence instead of having a bunch of detached silos of information is definitely key. Looks like is that a hand? Okay, someone lowered their hand. I'm sorry I missed that. Feel free to raise it back if you guys want that. And I'll just cover this. A question that we often get about generic AI data. We have put together a good bit of information, and I'll happily, anybody that wants to ask that question, I'm happy to get on a call with you after this. You're more than welcome to line up our Easy Insight tool and whatever other generic LLM you want to use, and I'll show you the drastic difference that we have in the amount of information and the type of content that is sourceable. So AI content, what I put together here is generic in its primary messaging. I absolutely suggest that you guys refine that and put it more into your own voice. However, for the purpose of this webinar, I'm just trying to show you how easy it is to get the macro of that content out. Yeah. And let's go back here. And yeah, again, no, you don't have to run this on EasyDigz. It is quite difficult to align all of this stuff and build the automation between it, which is why we built a consolidated platform that you can have loaded within the day to run your business off of. So again, this is something that you need to do in order to build your brand in real estate. However, being able to combine a lot of that is why we built the platform, is in order to make sure that you have that central wheel and that ecosystem in order to build off of. Again, I'll just go ahead and copy this link, and I told you guys that I would drop it in the chat right here, so that way you have reference to it. Let me know if I could get a thumbs up or something to let me know if everyone got that in the chat. If someone doesn't mind raising their hand or. All right, cool. Looks like you guys got it. Feel free to click on that. Yeah, you can get a general idea on how specific the information is. Feel free to read through it. If you guys think that there's information missing or other relevant information that we should be including, all of this, again, is customizable in our onboarding academy videos and webinars that we did previously with Dorify. You guys can see exactly how to customize a lot of that, and you get blogs that are more in tune with your persona and your voice. Cool. If no one else has any questions, I think we'll go ahead and call it there. I'm more than happy to hop on a call with any one of you and just point through any more details that you might want to see and how this can be relevant in helping you build your career. And thank you very much. I'll stick on for just a minute longer for anyone that has any questions. And other than that, I hope you have a great Monday and look forward to a great finish to the month. Thank you.